Most people in cybersecurity and IT have heard of GRC, governance, risks, and compliance, so many times that they assume they know what it is. And most of them are wrong. And it's not about the words, but it's about what it actually is. Because GRC is not a job description. It's not a checklist. It's not three separate departments that happen to share a team name. GRC is a way of thinking about security that is fundamentally different from how most technical professionals are trained to think. And understanding the difference, I mean, really understanding it, is what separates the cybersecurity professionals who are getting promoted into leadership from the ones who stay at the technical level indefinitely. I want to do something a little bit different in this video. Instead of defining each term, I want to walk you through how GRC thinking actually works in practice, because that's what the job is. It's not memorizing definitions, but applying the framework in real situations. I'm going to take a single scenario and show you what it looks like through each of the three lenses: governance, risk, and compliance. The scenario. Your organization has discovered that employees are regularly bypassing the VPN and accessing company systems from personal devices on public networks. Same problem, three completely different GRC responses. Let's look at the governance lens. Governance is the structural lens. Governance asks, do we have a policy that addresses this? Does the policy actually say what people are supposed to do? And is it current? Is it enforced? Does anyone know about it? Through the governance lens, the VPN bypass problem looks like this. We have an acceptable use policy, but it hasn't been updated since 2021 and doesn't address mobile devices or remote access scenarios clearly. We do not have a remote access policy that specifies VPN requirements. The training employees received on this topic was a one-time onboarding module that most people completed on their first day and forgot. The governance response is update the policy, create clear language about remote access requirements, implement reoccurring training, and build accountability structure so that policy violations are visible and addressed. The governance professional is not trying to fix the technical problem directly. They are building the structural system that makes the behavior correction possible and sustainable. Governance is how organizations make security into a managed program instead of a series of reactive incidents. Key insight about governance thinking. Governance professionals are always asking, what is the systematic response? Not how do we fix this one case? They think in frameworks, not patches. Now let's look at the risk lens. Risk is the analytical lens. Risk asks, what is the actual likelihood of harm from this situation? What would it cost us if something went wrong? And is this worth fixing right now? Or does something else deserve our limited resources and attention more? Through the risk lens, the VPN bypass problem looks like this. We have an unknown number of employees. Estimates suggest somewhere between 15 and 40% of the workforce based on the VPN log analysis, regularly connecting to company systems from uncontrolled environments. The threat is credential interception or device compromise on public networks. Based on the current threat actor behavior and the sensitivity of the data these employees are accessing, I would assess this is a medium to high likelihood risk with a potential business impact that includes unauthorized data access, operational disruption, and regulatory notification obligations if customer data is involved. My recommendation: invest in enforced VPN configuration on managed devices in the next 30 days. The cost of implementing this is significantly lower than the expected cost of a breach, and the risk is currently unmitigated. The risk professional is translating a technical observation into a business decision. They are giving leadership the information they need to say yes or no, and explaining the consequences of each choice. Key insight about risk thinking. Risk professionals are always asking, so what? And compared to what? They never deliver a finding without a recommendation ready. And they never make a recommendation without explaining the trade-off. Let's take a look at the compliance lens. Compliance is the obligation lens. Compliance asks, what are we required to do about this situation? Are we currently meeting that requirement? If not, what is our exposure? Regulatory, contractual, reputational? Through the compliance lens, the VPN bypass problem looks like this. We are subject to SOC 2 Type 2 controls around logical access control and encryption in transit. Our current compliance posture on this control is at risk. If auditors reviewed our VPN logs today, we would have a finding on this control. And depending on the auditor and our other compensating controls, it could result in a qualified opinion or exception. Additionally, if we have contractual obligations to our enterprise customers that include data protection standards, VPN bypass creates a gap in our ability to certify compliance with those agreements. We need to remediate this before our next audit window in Q3. I'm recommending we escalate this immediately. The compliance professional is connecting the operational situation to a specific obligation. Regulatory requirements, contractual requirements, audit timelines. They are the person who knows what the organization has promised and is tracking whether it is delivering on those promises. Key insight about compliance thinking. Compliance professionals are always working backward from an external standard. They know the rules, they know the evidence requirements, and they know the consequences of non-compliance. They are the translation layer between what regulators and auditors require and what technical teams actually do. Here is why understanding all three of these lenses, even if your job only explicitly covers one, is what gets people promoted. Leadership does not manage a single lens. A chief information security officer is doing governance, risk, and compliance thinking simultaneously in every decision that they make. The professionals who advance to senior GRC roles are the ones who can zoom in and out across all three. If you are a compliance analyst who understands the risk implications of your audit findings, you are more valuable than a compliance analyst who only sees the regulatory gaps. If you are a risk professional who understands the governance structure that produces the risks you're analyzing, you can give recommendations that are actually implementable. If you are a governance professional who understands the compliance obligation, your policies are designed to satisfy. Your policies are better because they were written with that accountability in mind. GRC is not three departments. It is one coherent framework for managing organizational security. And the people who understand it as a framework, not just a job title, are the ones who end up leading it. If you found this useful, I built a complete workbook that walks through the GRC career transition framework. The link is in the description. And if you have not grabbed the free GRC career map yet, it is there too. It is one page and it shows you exactly where you fit. I'll see you next week.